Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you the Freeland self-inflating sleeping pad. Alright, thanks for joining me today. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to show you this sleeping pad. A lot of people, I know, when I first started getting into preparedness and outdoor stuff and everything, I kind of had the same mentality of, what do you need a sleeping pad for? What are you getting, weak on me, you know? Trust me, if you've ever slept out in the outdoors anywhere, be it nice soft grass or hard gravel, you're going to appreciate a sleeping pad. Plus, a sleeping pad can also help insulate you from the cold or the heat in the ground. So, that's my theory on these. All of my bug out bags now have one. They are a little bit smaller than this. Again, this is kind of a larger sleeping pad. But if we compare it to size to, say, a USGI, this is the Thermarest one, pretty comparable in size. And if you can strap this to the back of a backpack, you'll be just fine. Anyway, I'm going to give you a little information on it. It's got ultralight foam padding in it. Can't talk this morning. It is self-inflating. Now let me explain to you how self-inflating works. With these kind of pads, and we'll take it out and show it to you, what it has inside is some very strong foam. Okay? Foam kind of material. Now, when you are opening this up, what am I caught on over here? There we go. When you open up the vent, the foam inside here wants to come apart. So as it comes apart, if you open the vent, it will suck in the air through the vent. And you will get a pretty decent inflation out of this. This is the stuff sack that comes with it, by the way. Pretty nice, although it's kind of a bright color. If I was using this for a bug out bag, I'd probably want to tone it down or use a different bag. It is light green. The one they show on Amazon is yellow, and I'll put a link to it down below in the description. So this is what it looks like. It's got these straps around the outside of it here to keep everything in place. And it is, if you notice, kind of thin this way. And that's due to the way I roll these up. When I'm done with these, okay, when I've deflated them and rolled them up as much as I can possibly, and I did inflate this the other day to make sure everything was okay, what I like to do with self-inflating mats for carry, and I'll get into that in a minute, not for everyday storage, is I will get on top with both my knees, push down with my knees, open the vent, and let the air, here in this case, let the air drain out as much as possible. So you're getting as small a profile and package as possible. The weight on this is 1.8 pounds. Not too bad. Not extremely heavy. Again, in my bug out bags, I have the little thin ones, you know, that are like maybe that big, and they're really, really thin. But they're also not as tough as this. This is a very tough material. And honestly, on my larger bag, I'm thinking of changing this one out simply because we have a lot of rocks and hard stuff on our ground, a lot of cactus, a lot of stuff that could puncture it. And this is a very, very thick puncture-proof material. So it's probably something that's kind of neat to have. So maybe in my bigger bag, I think I'm going to change that one out. Comes with instructions on the inside. These instructions are kind of they're not that great. Of course, pretty simple to use, and we'll show you how to use it in a minute. The instructions that are attached to the outside are actually readable, you know. It does come with 2 extra patches, although I can't really see you needing them because it's pretty darn good as is. Pretty thick material. It does have a new advanced anti-air leak valve. I noticed this a little bit different than the Thermarest one. When you open it and you blow into it, you're not getting as much air in because there's a, I want to say a baffle in there that's keeping it from exiting. So even if this isn't closed all the way, it will still prevent air from leaking out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up close on this. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to let you hear the hiss. And yeah, we'll be able to say, nice hiss, when I open it up. So let me pull in close and I'll show you. All right, now it's not, of course, it's not going to expand and blow open like a, you know, like in one of those inflatable rafts you see in the movies. But you're going to hear the hiss when I open this up, and you're going to see that it starts to puff up a little bit, hopefully. There you go. Okay. If I back the camera out a little bit, we'll show you doing its self-inflating thing. And again, some of this is helped when you unravel it. But you can see it's kind of doing it on its own. And it just kind of, the foam kind of expands and it kind of self-inflates. Now, when it's fully inflated like that, it won't be possibly as hard as you like it. That doesn't mean you can't take the end here and blow it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this up fully, and it is very simple to blow up. I'm going to blow this up fully. We're going to take it outside, and we're going to see how it feels on the gravel and on concrete. All right, so it's outside on the concrete here. I've got it fully inflated, and the measurements are 70.9 inches by 19.7 inches by about 1 inch thick when fully inflated. And I did take about 5 or 6 breaths to get it to that firmness. So what I'm going to go do now is we're going to put this on the ground here, and I'm going to feel it with my knees and see how it feels. And then we're going to put it over on the rock there, and we're going to try it out on the rock on the other end. So give me a second to set that up. All right, so let me get myself down here. You can see it's got a nice bit of resistance. As far as how it feels fairly comfortable. Not feeling the difference when you're on the concrete on your knees and on here is very noticeable. So it's definitely comfortable on the concrete. Let's try it on some rock. Now the first thing I noticed is, as you can tell, no one in their right mind would think of sleeping on rock here without a pad or some kind. If you were to lie down on that, it would be extremely uncomfortable. So what I did was I got myself completely flat on it, and I gotta say, it's really amazing. It's really nice, very comfortable. You don't feel the rocks, even with my knees where they are down this way. You don't feel the rocks underneath you, whereas I've kneeled down in this stuff here when I'm doing gardening or whatever over there, and it's not fun. So if you're if you've got a little older knees, or if you've got knees that are very sensitive, something like this is awesome. You could even use this as a pad, when you're working out in the wilderness. But definitely comfortable. I mean, I'm amazed that you can't feel the rocks underneath it. And as you can tell, it's got a pretty decent thickness to it. So let's bring it back inside and we'll finish up the review, and I'll give you some information on how you want to store this. It's kind of cut off by the camera, but I'm showing you the full length of it. I'll give you a quick, you're getting to see behind the scenes of my hacked up little wannabe YouTube studio here. It's a fairly long, like I said, it's 80.5 inches, so it's a fairly long mat. I'm 6'2" and had no problem fully lying down on it comfortably. There's no problem with that whatsoever. I also tried, I'm generally a back sleeper, but I tried sleeping on my side with it, perfectly comfortable. So, storage, before we roll it up. Storage, you want to store it like this. You want to store it, now you don't have to fully inflate it, of course, but you want to store it straight up and down, open. If you store it for too long compressed, crunched up like that, what happens is the foam is going to take on a memory, and when you open it, it won't self-expand. So they do say to recommend it. They recommend that with all self-inflating sleeping pads. The only reason I have this old USGI one rolled up like this is because the foam's already pretty on it. So, I have to inflate that. But again, 5 or 6 breaths and you got this thing nice and hard. As you can tell, it's bending over a little in the middle, but that's pretty darn sturdy. So, let's show you how I roll it up and give you my final thoughts on it. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is to open that valve all the way down there. So, let's bring it up to show you. There you go. Open it up all the way. You'll feel it deflate a little bit. As you can tell, that foam is pretty good. That foam holds it pretty rigid. The next step you're going to do is fold it over in the middle, and you can hear it going from there. Now what I like to do with the end here is I like to get the end as straight and tight as possible. So I'm going to take it like this and try to keep it as straight as possible, deflating it while I go. So you see how you kind of want it. You don't want it to roll up and start, growing upwards. So let me finish this up and we'll show you the compacted package and we'll finish it up. All right, I got it all rolled up, all wrapped up. Just put the straps on here. I kind of like to hold it down on one side, like that. So you see it's fairly simple to pack out. And again, this is how you'd store it if you're packing out long-term storage. You want to leave these, I wouldn't say inflated, but flat or open or hanging where they're not compressed like this. You got the other one. Now, why would I have this? Well, like I said in the beginning, when you're bugging out, you probably want to be at your best. Sleeping on rocks, dirt, hard ground, cold ground, not something you probably want to do. So that's kind of my idea for the use of this. Also, too, let's say you're not a backpacker, you're not a hiker, you live in a big urban area. Why would you want one of these? Well, you might have company, you know. You might have a family member that comes during some emergency. Maybe their place is uninhabitable and need a place to sleep. Heck of a lot better than sleeping on your rug, you know, or sleeping on a hard floor. So that is the Freeland self-inflating sleeping pad. And I'm really shocked at how well it works. You know, this isn't a very expensive item. They run about, I think they're $44 and I'll have the link below in the Amazon store if you want to click it and check it out. I have seen sleeping pads for as high as $80, $90. You know, again, people will tell you, oh, you have to buy this one from REI because it's $90 and you'll never be comfortable with anything less. Yes, this is a product made in China, you know, and I got to say, for, you know, the stitching and everything, looks to be a well-made product. It's very comfortable. It's very thick. I had no concerns about putting this on rock or anything like that out there. I laid flat on it, you know, and I was comfortable with it. I even put my knees on it into rocks and everything. So all in all, I'm pleased with it. I'm probably going to be switching this out in my heavier bug-out bag, my bigger long-term bug-out bag. I'm probably going to be switching out the small light one that I have in there for this. Reason being is the bulk. It's bulky, but it's not heavy. And, you know, the other one, maybe I don't know, maybe it's a half a pound heavier than the other one. But where I'm going to be staying, as you can tell, is either rocks or dirt. You know, we've got cactus on the ground. We've got rocks and dirt on the ground. You're not going to have big grassy pastures where you're going to be sleeping. So something that's a little bit thicker and heavier, definitely worth the money. Anyway, I will put the link to this down below in the Amazon store. Don't forget to check out our Amazon store. If you're interested in buying anything that I show on this channel, I always keep it there. If not, you can just click it and go through and shop on Amazon as you normally would. Helps us bring new cool gear to the channel and show you new stuff. And also, don't forget to check out our Thrive Life link down below. We've got lots and lots of freeze-dried food in our Thrive Life store. If you're interested in Thrive, you can check out some of my older videos where I do cooking, I do demos with it. I'm going to be setting up some kind of freeze-dried kind of MRE type. If you've ever seen those cold weather ration MRE type things, well, I'm going to be setting up something like that with some freeze-dried food, and we're going to try it out with some Thrive stuff and see how well that works. I do need to find myself a vacuum sealer first. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.